Activate your personal shield and get your trait to level 3 because it's time for the Star Wars Battlefront podcast.
What do you think of Battlefront 2? Do you think it was a good decision to go with the new movies?
Don't know. I gotta be honest. If I feel like I can't properly judge the game until I've seen what they're actually gonna include. All we know is that the new movies will be included, but we don't know how much and if it's the Clone Wars as well. But I feel like my ideal thing would be if they just made the next game complete, which they obviously aren't going to do. But if they would make it completely Clone Wars focused. Because there's just too much content in the Clone Wars to mix it with other eras. If you want to cover it, I mean, sure, Battlefront 2 had both eras, but there was still even a lot more to explore in the Clone Wars series, from the Clone Wars series and so on. So I think a Clone Wars game next year, and then they could make, in 2019, when all 3 movies are out, then they could make a proper Battlefront sequel game instead of doing it now when there's just 1 and possibly 2 movies out, depending on what they include.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too, because like when I saw that, I was like, man, Clone Wars would have been good because then they would have been able to finish out the trilogy and get even more characters, and because that's would be the problem they would run into is the heroes. I mean, they'd be running into this problem where they wouldn't have as many villains.
Yeah, it would just be like, I don't know, Kylo Ren, Phasma, General Hux, maybe?
Yeah.
I can't even come up with any other ones that could possibly fit.
What is it? Snoke? That would be...
Yeah, he'll just sit there in the back like, I'm sorry, I can't move, but I'll be here through the hologram.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that, and I mean, it would have been awesome. Like, this would be my dream game. Obviously they're going to stick with the new movies, but when they do that, they bring in the old content as well, so you can do like in Battlefront 2 where you can have, in the Battlefront 2 had Galactic Empire, Clone Wars era, but instead it'll be Force Awakens era, Galactic era. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I know how they've made all the games so far, Battlefield and so on, I think this is going to be separate games, unfortunately, but again, I think it would have been better if they, cool at least, if they made a little bit like the old games, where they had kind of Battlefront 1 and then they made... But that Battlefront 2 was kind of rushed compared... I mean, it was just 1 year in between, but they did, however, include a lot of the stuff from the first game. So, I mean, I think... I was thinking about... I mean, like Destiny... Well, they're also going to release a new game, but they released these huge expansions that, like, add a lot to the game. So imagine if they just had this Battlefront game now, and then they, like, released a major, like, I don't know, $40... Force Awakens expansion, and then they could add a Clone Wars expansion just to make one game bigger and better all the time instead of like having separate games for it.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I've seen a lot of like people saying that on Reddit, saying that they want them to add basically an expansion that's either $40 or the same price as Battlefront 1 was. That'd be pretty cool to see, but I don't see them doing that because it'd just be like crazy file sizes, and then they would have to go on to the infrastructure that they laid down before it. It'd just be kind of hard.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I definitely think they could do that with Battlefront 2, and that'd be interesting to see, like when the new movies come out, they have the expansion for the movies, but it brings in like maybe a campaign, but like new content and heroes as well.
Yeah. I wonder how they... because that's... If they make... Let's say that they cover Battlefront in the next Battlefront game. If they have both Episode 7 and 8, then Episode 9 is going to be left out. Unless they... I feel like it would be kind of ridiculous if they make a game the next year for for Episode 7 and 8, and then... we don't even know if they're going to make another game after that. But it sounded like on when Patrick Söderlund or whatever he's called, when he talked about the future, it was kind of like, okay, this is our new rotation with Battlefront, Titanfall, and Battlefield. Like, it's kind of a recurring thing. It's just not a one-time thing. So if they make another one after this one, and they make that Episode 9, people are gonna get pissed off. If they make 2 games out of 3 movies and then leave out the Clone Wars, people are gonna like be furious if that's the case. But hopefully it's not. We don't know.
I hope the Battlefront series continues onward. Like we were seeing, like just now that they were making a 3 and a 4 already, which was insane that they were looking so far into the future. I mean, I hope that's what we get. Like we'll have Battlefront 2 next year, then 2019 we have Battlefront 3, and then just keep on going like that. Because I love how I know this is a controversial subject. Like I love how EA has the rights to Star Wars, because I think they can do what Disney plans to do really well, because they've got like the Disney infrastructure, they've got all these studios underneath them, and they can work together. They've got the like the canon tree going through it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I completely agree. I don't know, people, like to hate on EA and Star Wars, and I just say try to give that brand to someone else and see if they can do a better job. Really, I mean, Battlefront, although it was a bit rushed, there's no denying that. That was why they couldn't have a campaign and so on. If you look at how the game is now and how happy everyone is playing it is, they've really made a good job. So if they can just replicate that, but from the start instead, I think people are going to be really happy about it. And then we have, of course, Visceral making a completely different game for single player, and then we have Respawn making another game, which we have like zero info on that, except that we saw those people in motion capture suits and lightsabers. So I'm guessing it's going to be a lightsaber game. We mean, they're covering all aspects of like multiplayer, single player, possibly lightsaber, from 3 different studios or even more, with AAA quality. So I mean, although people like to hate on EA, they're making good games. I can't deny that.
Yeah, and like with the success of Battlefield 1, I am so excited for Battlefront 2, because it's gonna have the experience that they've had through Battlefield 1. It gets so confusing. Battlefield 1, then you've got Battlefront 1, 2 Battlefront 1s actually, 2 Battlefront 2 soon.
Yeah, but I agree. It's really nice to see that Battlefield 1 is getting such a good reviews, and I've played it myself, and I think, although I'm more of a Battlefront player, I can like appreciate how well made the game is, and I just feel like take the best from Battlefield 1, take the best from Battlefront, and make a perfect Battlefront 2.
I think that they will, because they're going to have the campaign experience. They've got 2 development teams working on it, so I'm thinking one team's going to do the campaign and DICE is going to do the multiplayer, because they can do like extremely good multiplayer. So like, but also working together, kind of get the gameplay for both of them put together seamlessly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think it's Motive working on the single player, right? I mean,
yeah,
they haven't said that they're working on single player, but
that's what we're thinking.
I'll be willing to bet that they are working on single player. Because I know that, I mean, I haven't played that many of DICE single player games, but I know the Battlefield single player, campaigns haven't been, they haven't been brilliant as far as I can tell. I think, at least from general thought, is that, there is the multiplayer that people play it for, so it's good that they kind of outsource it to someone who's maybe more focused on single player, and then they can just make the multiplayer great and then just merge it together.
I think that is the thing EA is perfect for Battlefront, the collaboration that I think Star Wars is basically a huge multinational collaboration across all of these fronts. I mean, I was saying this with Colby Boothman. I was like, you go to Star Wars, pretty much any conference, like Comic-Con or something, you say Star Wars, no matter where they're from, you usually have a conversation about it.
Yep, it's such a well-known phenomenon, so I agree with you. They have all the power, and then of course we have the Criterion part making VR.
Yeah.
I bet they're gonna continue that for the next game as well. So I've played the VR now, the mission, and it was really good. Although I'm not a huge fan of VR in general, this was the first time I played a VR thing and thought, wow, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
The 15th was my birthday, and for my birthday I wanted to go try out PlayStation VR at one of the demos, and that just blew my mind. Like, I was sold. We're gonna get this.
Oh, did you actually try the Battlefront mission, or was it?
It was Arkham VR, but that thing was crazy. Like, Alfred was over there, and it's so crazy, like seeing this guy that you know he's not there, but he's right there. I'm like, yeah. Are you gonna?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get a? Do you have a PlayStation?
Yeah, I have a PlayStation.
Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like I'm not a huge fan of VR because I kind of had the first 2 times I tried it, got kind of nauseated from it, and I was like, I don't want to sit there and be nauseated when I play games. So I might as well just use the mouse and keyboard. But on the other hand, the PS4, the X-wing mission was very cool. So I'm thinking I might get the VR because it might be more cool things to try out in the future and so on.
Yeah, and I am excited for the future of PlayStation VR because it's already sold out pretty much everywhere. We went to the Best Buy. Yeah, we went to the Best Buy that we were demoing it at. They were sold out of everything PlayStation VR.
Oh wow, it's that popular. Well, I mean, it's a good. As far as I can tell, it's a lot cheaper than getting something like the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
Which you also need a really expensive PC for. So I mean, it's a good start for anyone who wants to get into the VR, and I think they're gonna offer a lot of good games for it in the future.
Yeah, it's why the Wii had so many games. Is because it was just popular. If it wasn't popular, it would not have any games. So hopefully, since PlayStation VR has been so popular, it's gonna bring more games, which brings more people. So it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I've heard so far is that it's mostly like tech demos so far.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is really cool. This is what you might get in the future. But I guess that they're kind of testing the waters maybe with a lot of different of those, and then see which ones are the most popular ones. Let's make a full game for it, or something like that.
Yeah, I think with the Rogue One VR mission, I think that's gonna be really interesting to see how that team works around VR, getting Battlefront in it, and just trying to get it to the best possibilities for the future Battlefronts.
Like a sort of a test thing, I guess. I agree with you.
Which is what most VR things are right now. Like they've got like the walking simulator, but you're not walking. They've got that's one of the hardest parts about VR is actually getting the movement around, because a bunch of them, like especially for PlayStation VR, because it doesn't have the room tracking, it's going to teleport you around different areas. So I think if they made like a Battlefront first-person shooter, like where you're just like a shooting gallery maybe, that'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I think I actually spoke to the developers who make the VR mission, and they said that they've like spent so much time on just finding out why people get sick from VR, and so they were like super happy when I told them, yeah, this is the first VR I've tried that I did not get sick from, and they were like, oh, that's exactly what we wanted to hear, because a lot of that, like the movement, that was the one I had the most issues with when I was moving, actually walking around with the controller. While sitting still, it was just confusing my brain so much. It was not like teleporting; you actually walked around, which was, I don't know, I did not like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, space and flying is obviously going to be like the ideal VR thing. You could just look around the cockpit and look behind you, but you don't have to walk around. You can just fly.
Yeah, that and like racing games, that's perfect because you're already sitting down. It's like you're not. When you're in a car, it doesn't feel like you're moving, but you are. So that's a good way to try out VR.
Yeah, that's probably also a very natural and good way to start it off. Because just walking and sitting still, that's gonna confuse anyone, I think.